I am NetMoverSitan. In this, I will not just be expanding on the walkway northwards, but I will also be doing something else. And yes, you did see the snake being completed, the snake tunnel that leads to one of the portals in the portal network. Let's see, I think I've done... well, it's certainly sometime last month, I'll say that. Yes. Certainly last month, where I can theoretically go from one point to another much quicker. Yes, that includes loading time, which isn't that much if you use it for long distance travel. What do you think I should do next? Please put it in the comments. Should I expand the underwater base? Do some more experiments in the research tower? On the floating island in between the first agricultural tower and the garden tower. And some of you might be asking, why have towers when you can have large structures? I mean, normal buildings. Well, towers are vertically built, and there's nothing much but air. Building horizontally will, well, ruin the landscape. I mean, would you want an unbroken landscape of artificial materials? I mean, like in the Judge Dredd series with its megacities. Although in that case, it was a necessity considering what happened. Trust me, I want it to be as uninterrupted as far as nature is concerned as possible. Although I will need to clear some of the trees. It's because I need to, not because it's in the way of a building project. Not all the time, anyway. Yeah, if I didn't have my armor on, I'd probably be dead. Oh yes, and I was surprised when I found out that it was preferable if I did the void more, I mean uploaded it more, than the long journey home, which is almost fully uploaded, by the way. In fact, by the time some of you are watching this, it'll probably be fully uploaded. Perhaps it's because it's much more unusual than what I usually play. I know, that might sound like a contradiction, and it doesn't make sense much to me either. Yeah, I did notice that I built one of the supports more for aesthetic reasons than anything on the wrong side. I'm gonna need to correct it. Oh yes. And I seem to be gravitating more towards indie games. Or more specifically, indie games that haven't sold out to the mainstream or AAA game companies. Which might have something to do with the infection of Hollywood, shoddy business practices, and even the call of looty, as some was called it, as in the loot box, glorified gambling. I can see why some would say that. And there's some, well, at least one part of the US that wasn't at all comfortable with the thought of gamblers being as young as that. In fact, it's worse than gambling because well, you might as well buy the items. Because at least you know what you're getting. Oh yes, and then there's the meaning behind what Winston Churchill said, where the greatest argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. Well, he might be what some would say is not that better than what he's fighting. But he did have a point there, because just because the majority wants something, it doesn't mean that the majority is right. I mean, the majority might want to cancel all civil liberties in the name of security, but that doesn't make that right, does it? Especially if it results in a oppressive regime that uses others as scapegoats for their problems. Condemning them of greed, while their greed is tolerated. And as far as the political spectrum is concerned, left, right, those are just directions. They're as bad as the other. Certainly if they go too far. Sad, isn't it? As for C.S. Lewis, as in Narnia, he honestly believed that it was better to live under those who gain their wealth through unscrupulous, as in dishonest, business practices. Yeah, it was better to let them be in charge of things, because at least their greed could be satiated, rather than let those who preach that they're doing what they're doing for the good of the people, no matter how cruel or perverse, because their cruelty will go without end. And I have a feeling it wasn't just fascist dictators he was talking about. He was talking about the tyrants on the other side of the political spectrum. As he said that about a year, give or take, after World War II ended. Know anyone like that? Either the robber baron type or an insufferable moral busybody. You say that's very... Oh, you want some too? Here, have some. Those who say they're doing it for your own good. Whenever I hear someone say that, the thought in my head is... burn! Sorry. That's not what forces in my head. The force in my head, in reality, is... run for your life! Because their intention is not for my own good. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They want to throw me onto the sacrificial furnace. Because to them, I'm just a sacrificial animal. Oh, you want to learn as well. Your wish has been granted. If you want to burn again, call on NetMoverSitan's cremation service. Ooh, target practice. Surprisingly accurate. Yeah, another thing. That fat, drunk Prime Minister, Lord of the Admiralty. Yeah. Yeah, he was that. Winston Churchill could also see the difference of. He could see the difference between a compromise and an appeasement. Although the crocodile metaphor came after. Because he and a few others recognise the fact that the more you give some people, the more they'll want. Yeah. Some people just can't be satisfied. Their greed, perhaps not for material wealth, but for personal power, knows no bounds. Oh, rather spectacular return to form after the Legolas moment. I might as well turn into a Welsh dwarf. As in the one that follows Legolas around. You want a burn as well. That could be of service. And you're wondering why I'm here. Well, I want to seek out the last known location of the stronghold with the end gates. I know it's beyond a village. I just need to find the torches. Oh yes. And you notice the TNT boxes. And I am surprised that no one has considered making a recipe that makes use of rotten flesh. Perhaps in some form of necromancy. Or some kind of zombie lure. For in case you get out of the way. Rather need someone... well, some way to get out of the way. Ah, one of my markers. Let's see... need to look out for more of them. Not sure if I'm going the right way. Although thankfully I have a compass. In case I get lost and need to find a spawn point. Or at least friendly territory. If it doesn't take me in the exact direction of it, it will at least point me towards a walkway. And a walkway will at least be safe, as I have it well lit, preventing any monsters from spawning within it. Well, if I light it well enough, of course. So, what do you think? Do you believe that the majority is right? Well, it can certainly be fair. But right, that's debatable. Well, more so anyway. And when you see these people preaching that they don't want to do this, but they simply had to, that's really just code for saying, we want to do that, although we don't want to tell you that we meant to do that, especially not from the start. Yeah, it's amazing, and not in a good way, that some will go for the more extreme options when things really get tough. Found the village. And they're still alive. It's not post-apocalyptic. Right, I know that I put some torches around here. I just need to find it. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll probably, let's see if I can do the Battletoads fights in a special video for Shovel Knight. And also Chroma Gun. Yeah. Yeah, this is as good a spot to dig down as any. Because even if it doesn't reach the strongholds, it'll at least be close. Yeah, Chroma Gun. Think Portal, except you're using colours rather than portals. Well, it's something that provides intellectual stimulation and has a story. And some of you might be saying, boring! Where's the explosions? Well, I've got explosions for you. Right here. I'm going to be exploding downwards. Yeah. Well, I didn't bring those TNT boxes here for no reason. Although, I might want to build a small structure here. something that allows me to dig down in peace, without fear of getting ambushed from above. I'll have more cobblestone to use on the walkway after this. And off camera I've done some more for the underground village. Yes, I haven't forgotten about that. It provides more cobblestone for the walkways, along with the more decorative stone. Like this. Yes, I need to clear some space for the cobblestone, so might as well use it here, along with glass. Yeah. Apparently there's some in my family who believes that you need alcohol to enjoy life. Well, alcohol, it dampens higher brain functions. It can also bring out the worst in those that drink it. It can also be quite addictive. I think I'll steer clear of it, as my thought processes are messed up as they are sober. With alcohol, they'll be even worse. I'm not that barking. It might seem that way, but I'm not. Yeah, I know. I'm a freak. Tell me something that I don't know. Oh yeah, and did you hear that at some point in the future they're thinking of fueling the buses of London? With a fuel that's a mix of diesel and an oil created from used coffee grounds. I mean, coffee grounds. I mean... well, that's one way of getting rid of that form of biological waste. I mean, can you imagine the amount of used coffee grounds that you'll find in the financial district alone? Never mind the rest of the city. Yeah, a city that is not going to be underpopulated anytime soon. No, it won't. It also has a disproportionately large number of companies that make their home. Perhaps there's less now, but certainly quite a few. In fact, the rest of England might as well not exist. And as for all these repressive regimes, those who are willing to commit atrocities for the good of the people, one thing that makes them possible: the silence of their supporters. It is silence that guarantees their victory. It is silence that can turn something that was a bit dysfunctional but not that bad into just the outer perimeter of a countrywide prison. Where the real prisons are just the worst part of it. Where the main difference is you're not tormented, terrorized, injured, all manner of indignities. They're not inflicted on you as much. So if you see an injustice, here's some advice: don't stay silent about it, as that'll make sure that they go unchallenged. They also don't want you to think. They want silent submission. To them, those with a will of their own are the enemy. An enemy that must be crushed by any means that they can get away with. It's even scarier when you think that there's some who will just let this happen, either growing complacent or actively knowing what is happening, yet they just let it happen. And then, when they realise the horror, if they do at all, they deny their support. Because otherwise, it makes them look like, well, makes them look as bad as a serial killer or a serial rapist. Yeah, I wasn't far enough to escape the blast radius that time. Where it's always someone else's fault for their ills. Where they blame others continuously for their mistakes. Mostly those who are psychopaths who do that. Or those in denial who want to cope with trauma by any means that they can think of, rather than deal with the issues that are making them feel this way. So when some people are thinking, I didn't mean to do that, I didn't want to do that, there are some who might be genuine with what they're saying, but others, well, it can be denial, it can be just plain lying, it can also be a number of other reasons. Right, I think that's it for this episode. Right, I'll see if that leads to the stronghold. Until next time, hail the rabbit!